$1 million is a figure typically reserved for luxury real estate, yet it increasingly represents the market value of the world's most elite sleeper cabs. Why would a logistics professional or an owner-operator invest a sum equivalent to a premium mansion into a mobile vehicle? At first glance, a truck is merely a tool for long-haul transport, but in reality, these custom-engineered units serve as primary residences for months at a time. This financial commitment ensures that every square inch of the cabin provides a functional environment that matches or exceeds the amenities found in fixed-site luxury apartments. Some sleeper cabs are engineered to provide more interior volume and higher-grade finishes than traditional city dwellings. It is visible how custom manufacturers extend the chassis of standard trucks to accommodate living quarters that span up to 150 square feet or more. The process of transforming a utilitarian vehicle into a high-end residence is only gaining momentum as demand for mobile comfort increases. One can notice how the equipment within these rigs mirrors that of a professional kitchen, featuring full-sized induction cooktops, convection ovens, and stone countertops. The engineering does not end at this stage. Hydraulic slide-outs expand the width of the living area when the vehicle is stationary, creating an open-plan layout that allows for the installation of full-size showers and king-sized beds. Everything only gets more complicated as one examines the onboard power systems. 6 or 8 high-capacity lithium-ion batteries are often integrated into the frame to silent-run climate control and high-end electronics for days without idling the main engine. The camera glides along the polished wood cabinetry and leather upholstery, revealing integrated theater systems and satellite connectivity that operate with millisecond precision. It seems like a simple matter of adding furniture, but in reality, every component must be reinforced to withstand the constant vibrations and structural stresses of thousands of miles of highway travel. Transition to the next level. 10,000 pounds of additional weight are often added to the vehicle's gross weight rating just to support these interior modifications. Therefore, the chassis must be lengthened and the suspension systems recalibrated to ensure the center of gravity remains stable during high-speed maneuvers. This level of customization pushes the final price tag into the range of several $100,000 to over $1 million. And this is not the limit. The most extreme examples of this engineering defy the conventional silhouette of a heavy-duty truck, appearing more like high-tech land yachts than freight haulers. This shift in design philosophy reflects a complete transition from basic roadside survival to a 5-star professional lifestyle. From here, the transformation moves to the next phase of specialized vehicle evolution. 600 horsepower is the baseline performance of this industrial titan, which serves as the official mobile headquarters for the Shell Bootleggers pulling team. Why would a competitive pulling team invest so heavily in a single transport vehicle? While it serves as a primary hauler for heavy equipment, the truck functions more importantly as a specialized command center that remains on-site during national championships. This allows the crew to bypass the logistical need for external hotels or separate trailers, centralizing their entire operation within one frame. Everything only gets more complicated when examining the interior architecture of the custom sleeper cab. This compartment spans over 13 feet in length, providing a footprint that rivals high-end luxury mobile environments. One can notice how the interior layout integrates dark wood cabinetry alongside a large L-shaped leather sofa, creating a functional lounge for driver recovery. The equipment includes independent climate control systems, a built-in television, and a compact kitchen suite containing a microwave, refrigerator, and sink. The process is only gaining momentum. Under the hood sits a Cummins X15 engine, a 6-cylinder inline power plant with a displacement of 15 liters. This engine generates approximately 2,100 pound-feet of torque to manage the extreme weights associated with the pulling circuit. An automated transmission regulates this power, ensuring the rig can maintain steady speeds over vast distances between competition venues. It is visible how the air suspension system utilizes electronic leveling to stabilize the chassis regardless of the terrain or load distribution. At first glance, the exterior appears to be for show, but in reality, every detail reinforces the brand identity of the team. The chassis is finished in high-gloss black paint, serving as a backdrop for the custom Shell Bootleggers graphics that make the vehicle instantly recognizable. Polished chrome accents and vertical exhaust stacks define the aggressive stance of the machine. It only looks obvious that a truck would attract attention, Yet this Peterbilt frequently draws more spectators than the actual competition vehicles it carries. $400,000 is the estimated valuation for a rig of this technical and aesthetic caliber. This figure accounts for the premium finishes, the significant mechanical upgrades, and the integration of specialized living quarters. The truck serves as a base of operations where drivers eat, rest, and perform pre-event preparations in a controlled environment. But this is just the beginning. The equipment moves to a different scale of utility as it transitions from a transport tool to a mobile lounge. High-intensity light-emitting diode systems illuminate the workspace during late-night mechanical adjustments. The camera glides along the polished surfaces of the exterior, highlighting the contrast between the industrial chrome and the dark paint. It does not end at this stage. Transition to the next level. The following vehicle in the sequence redefines the conventional understanding of sleeper cab dimensions. It functions less like a standard long-haul truck and more like a luxury condominium, integrated directly into the heavy-duty marketplace. This concludes the overview of the Shell Bootleggers mobile headquarters as it prepares for the next phase of the circuit. 156 inches is the staggering length of the custom sleeper cabin integrated into the Kenworth W900L 2024. Why would a manufacturer extend a vehicle to such extreme proportions when a standard cabin usually suffices? The answer lies in the specific requirements of long-haul operators who live on the road for months at a time, requiring a workspace that functions as a self-contained residence. This machine represents a significant departure from conventional logistics equipment, serving as a motorized mini-home built on a heavy-duty frame. The classic profile of the Kenworth long hood remains the dominant visual feature, characterized by high-polished chrome surfaces and a vertical grille. At first glance, the exterior appears to be a standard heavy-duty tractor, but in reality, the structure stretching behind the driver's seat reaches a length of over 13 feet. One can notice how the synthetic granite countertops and real hardwood finishes create an interior environment that mirrors a high-end apartment rather than a commercial vehicle. The space includes a full kitchen setup equipped with a microwave, a refrigerator, and a sink for total independence from roadside facilities. The equipment gradually reveals more amenities, such as a convertible couch that transitions into a seating area and a fixed double bed positioned for maximum rest. It gets more complex further on. A private bathroom featuring a full-size shower is integrated into the rear section, ensuring the driver never relies on external infrastructure for hygiene. The process of moving this massive structure requires significant mechanical power. A Cummins X15 engine serves as the heart of the machine, consisting of a 15-liter inline six-cylinder configuration. This power plant generates approximately 525 horsepower and more than 2,000 pound-feet of torque to maintain momentum under heavy loads. Because the operator requires absolute control over various road conditions, the engine is paired with a manual 18-speed transmission. The gear shifter stands tall in the center of the cockpit, allowing the driver to manage the torquey curves precisely across changing elevations. A high-performance air suspension system supports the chassis, reacting to the added weight of the extended sleeper to ensure stability and vibration dampening. The camera glides along the heavy-duty axles, where the airbags inflate and deflate to maintain a level ride height regardless of the cargo weight. But this is just the beginning. The design philosophy focuses on endless highways and long-term trucking rather than short-distance regional hauls. It is visible how the thick insulation layers within the walls separate the interior from the external environment. Many operators report that the soundproofing is so effective they can sleep peacefully while the 15-liter engine continues to idle outside. This level of thermal and acoustic isolation allows the cabin to remain functional during the peak of summer or the depths of winter without straining the internal climate control systems. Investment in such a vehicle reflects its role as a permanent residence. Depending on the specific options and the level of interior finish, a fully loaded ARI sleeper configuration ranges in price from $450,000 to $500,000. While the cost is substantial, the utility provided by the integrated living quarters justifies the expenditure for those who thrive in a mobile lifestyle. Everything only gets more complicated when considering the transition from living on the road to truly thriving within a technical workspace. The metal and wood components are joined with precision to ensure that the rig remains reliable over hundreds of thousands of miles. This vehicle redefines the boundaries of industrial design by merging heavy transport capabilities with domestic comfort. The journey of the long-haul driver continues with a new standard of independence and technical endurance. 150 inches of dedicated living space stretch out behind the driver's seat of the Volvo VNL Expedition truck. Why would travelers choose to transform a commercial heavy-duty hauler into a permanent residence instead of purchasing a traditional motorhome? A standard recreational vehicle often lacks the structural integrity for continuous cross-country transit, but this custom build allows Dave and Kelly Plum to bypass hotels, restaurants, and rest stops entirely. They collaborated with Bolt Custom Trucks, an organization recognized throughout the United States for high-end sleeper cab modifications, to realize this specific vision. This 12-foot expansion creates a footprint large enough for a comprehensive interior layout. One can notice how the kitchen area is outfitted with a functional stovetop, a microwave, and a full-size refrigerator alongside a stainless steel sink and integrated cabinetry. The floor plan also incorporates a private bathroom equipped with a functional shower. 6 cylinders arranged in an inline configuration power the 13-liter Volvo D13 engine at the heart of the machine. It generates 500 horsepower and more than 1,800 pound-feet of torque to maintain momentum. Everything only gets more complicated when considering the weight of the additional amenities. It seems simple to add furniture to a cab, but in reality, the frame must support a convertible couch, a full entertainment system with surround sound, and a dedicated independent climate control network. The engine manages this increased mass without mechanical strain. An automated smart transmission is calibrated specifically for long-distance comfort, while an integrated air suspension system stabilizes the chassis regardless of the terrain. The exterior of the truck utilizes a dark gray paint scheme complemented by chrome accents. The equipment gradually transitions from a purely industrial appearance to a blend of ruggedness and style. Self-sufficiency remains the primary technical objective for the Plums. They intended to exist on the road full-time without depending on external campgrounds or public infrastructure. Consequently, the engineering includes a comprehensive power management system and high-capacity water storage tanks for off-grid operation. The camera glides along the exterior lines, where the rumble of the engine serves as a constant reminder of the vehicle's mechanical origins. It does not end at this stage. $360,000 is the approximate cost of this specialized rig. This figure accounts for the intense level of engineering, custom fabrication, and detail required to merge a working machine with motorhome-level comfort. The popularity of this specific Volvo VNL has established a new benchmark for modern long-haul living, prompting other drivers to seek similar modifications. Transition to the next level. This development indicates a shift in how luxury and power are integrated into the heavy-duty trucking segment. The journey toward extreme mobile comfort is only gaining momentum. One can notice the smooth departure of the vehicle as the air suspension adjusts to the load. The metal and composite structure moves as a single cohesive unit toward the horizon. This concludes the overview of the Expedition truck's technical specifications and layout. 510 horsepower is the output generated by the heavy-duty power plant driving this aerodynamic machine forward. Why do long-haul professionals choose this specific model for months of continuous travel? It would seem that a standard cabin would suffice for basic rest between shifts. But without a meticulously planned living space, the mental well-being and physical recovery of a driver would deteriorate rapidly under the strain of the road. The Kenworth T680 represents a peak of modern engineering within the company's current lineup of heavy vehicles. It is visible how the exterior lines are shaped to minimize wind resistance, directly improving fuel efficiency during high-speed highway transit. This aerodynamic profile works in tandem with an air suspension system that isolates the chassis from vibrations. The equipment gradually compensates for road irregularities, ensuring the driver experiences a smooth and quiet ride that preserves energy over thousands of miles. But this is just the beginning. Inside the cabin, one can notice a clean and bright environment illuminated by soft indirect lighting. The layout utilizes a sleeper cab configuration where every square inch is optimized for autonomy and comfort. It features a convertible sofa bed that transitions from a seating area to a sleeping surface alongside a dedicated countertop workspace. A built-in microwave and a refrigerator are integrated into the cabinetry, while multiple storage compartments house personal items without creating a sense of confinement. It gets more complex further on. At first glance, the interior looks like a simple cabin, but in reality, it is a fully functional mobile residence. One owner managed to live and work within this exact rig for 8 consecutive months without ever requiring a hotel stay. Noise insulation layers within the walls further enhance this livability by blocking out the constant drone of tires and the surrounding engine roar. Such a level of independence is rare in standard industrial transport. 13 liters of displacement define the Packer MX-13 engine, an inline-6 unit that provides the mechanical heart of the truck. This engine produces approximately 1,850 pound-feet of torque to move heavy loads with ease. The power is managed through either a 12-speed automated gearbox or a traditional manual transmission, depending on the specific fleet configuration. The process is only gaining momentum. $280,000 to $320,000 is the typical price range for a well-equipped unit of this caliber. This investment covers the advanced interior packages and the high-performance mechanical components designed to reduce operator stress. Every element, from the seat ergonomics to the placement of the microwave, serves to improve the quality of life for those who spend the majority of their year away from home. The vehicle stands as a testament to practical design where efficiency and luxury intersect. As this modern rig completes its duty, the focus shifts toward a different philosophy of transportation. The next machine combines a classic aesthetic with serious luxury, maintaining a constant presence on the highway. 565 horsepower is the output generated by the heavy-duty heart of the Peterbilt 389-777. Why has this specific machine become a permanent fixture at premier automotive exhibitions across the United States? While a standard truck serves as a utilitarian tool, the 777 was engineered as a high-performance showpiece where visual impact carries as much weight as mechanical capability. The camera glides along the exterior surfaces, revealing a deep crimson paint scheme and a mirror-like finish that extends to the extensive chrome accents. One can notice how the chassis sits with a confident and commanding stance, signaling its status as one of the most recognizable custom builds on the modern road. Engineers integrated a 15-liter inline-6 Cummins X15 power unit beneath the elongated hood. This engine produces 2,100 pound-feet of torque, ensuring the vehicle possesses the physical strength to match its aggressive aesthetic. It is visible how the power is managed through a manual 18-speed transmission, a configuration that preserves the traditional mechanical engagement required by professional operators. But this mechanical foundation is only the beginning. It seems simple to describe a sleeper cab as a resting area, but in reality, the interior of the 777 functions more like an upscale lounge than a standard transport compartment. Inside the cabin, the environment is defined by rich brown leather upholstery and a comprehensive suite of amenities designed for long-term comfort. Amber light-emitting diode accent lighting illuminates the space, which includes a retractable sofa, a microwave, and a dedicated refrigerator for food storage. Climate control systems maintain a constant internal temperature, while upper cabinetry provides organized storage for the driver. The process of refinement is only gaining momentum as the focus shifts to the market value of such a specialized build. A specialized truck of this caliber requires an investment ranging from $400,000 to $450,000. This total encompasses the high-grade materials, custom fabrication work, and the extensive upgrades made to the sleeper living quarters. Because of its unique cultural standing, crowds frequently gather and form lines at industry events just to capture photographs of the rig. The equipment gradually transitions from a working vehicle to a public icon, gaining a level of recognition typically reserved for high-profile personalities. It does not end at this stage. The metal and leather of this Peterbilt represent a peak in custom engineering, yet the next vehicle in the sequence pushes the boundaries of mobile residence design even further. A Kenworth rig awaits, moving the narrative toward a machine that functions as a true residence on wheels. 156 inches is the exact measurement of the living space integrated behind the cab of this customized Kenworth W900L. Why would a long-haul vehicle require nearly 13 feet of additional frame length? The answer lies in the total elimination of external infrastructure reliance for the operator. Integrated Custom Trucks has transformed this machine into a mobile residence that functions independently of motels or rest stop facilities. The exterior of the truck presents a clean and imposing silhouette. One can notice how the chrome accents are polished to a mirror finish, reflecting the surrounding environment with absolute clarity. The equipment gradually transitions from a standard heavy-duty hauler into a bespoke engineering marvel that commands attention through its balanced proportions rather than unnecessary ornamentation. But this is just the beginning. The heart of the machine is a Cummins X15 engine. This 15-liter inline-six power plant generates 565 horsepower and nearly 2,200 pound-feet of torque. These massive figures are managed by a traditional 18-speed manual transmission, a choice specifically favored by veteran drivers who require total precision and tactile control over the drivetrain. It gets more complex further on. It seems simple to call the rear section a sleeper, but in reality, it is a fully functional home. Inside, the living area features a retractable sofa that optimizes the available square footage. The kitchen is equipped with a microwave, a refrigerator, and a stainless steel sink, surrounded by custom cabinetry. A full bathroom with an enclosed shower provides a level of hygiene and privacy rarely found in the transport industry. Light wood tones and neutral colors dominate the interior palette to create an upscale atmosphere. It is visible how the LED lighting and dedicated climate control systems maintain a consistent environment regardless of the weather outside. The process of living on the road is only gaining momentum. $550,000 is a price point that this build can easily exceed depending on the specific materials and technical equipment selected by the owner. At first glance, the investment is staggering, but for those who live permanently on the asphalt, the value is found in the total autonomy the vehicle provides. The truck moves with the hiss of its air suspension, carrying every necessity of modern life within its reinforced frame. The driver sits in a seat designed for maximum ergonomic comfort during shifts that span hundreds of miles. Wherever the vehicle eventually parks, the home is already established and functioning. Transition to the next level. The scale of luxury and engineering present in this model sets a high standard, but the next vehicle in the sequence moves into even more extreme and outrageous territory. The Kenworth W900L concludes its demonstration of mobile refinement, proving that industrial power and residential comfort can exist in a single machine. From here, the narrative moves to the next phase of heavy-duty customization. 200 inches! That is the staggering length of the sleeper compartment on this custom yellow Peterbilt. Why would a long-haul machine require a living space that stretches over 16 feet in length? At first glance, a truck is merely a tool for logistics, but this configuration rivals the dimensions of a modern studio apartment. The massive frame serves as a foundation for a luxury rig engineered to dominate the road through sheer scale and visual presence. One can notice how the sunlight reflects off the full-length chrome detailing and mirror-polished wheels that accent the vibrant yellow paint. The equipment gradually transitions from a functional vehicle into a dramatic showpiece that commands attention at every stop. It is visible how the polished surfaces contrast with the saturated primary color of the chassis. But this is just the beginning. Stepping into the interior reveals a layout where the living room features a retractable sofa and a dedicated dining table. The kitchen is fully equipped with a microwave, a sink, and a large refrigerator to support extended stays. It only looks obvious that comfort is a priority, but in reality, the inclusion of a private bathroom with an enclosed shower and a spacious bed transforms the cabin into a self-contained residence. Thermal and acoustic insulation layers are integrated into the walls, ensuring a peaceful night of sleep even while the heavy engine operates nearby. Under the hood, the mechanical power is likely provided by a Cummins X15 engine. This 15-liter inline six-cylinder powerhouse generates approximately 600 horsepower. The engine produces nearly 2,200 pound-feet of torque to move the massive structural weight of the rig. Control is managed through a classic 18-speed manual transmission, a component selected specifically for its long-term durability and the total command it offers the driver over the drivetrain. Everything only gets more complicated when considering the impact this machine has on the industry. The truck has established itself as a recurring centerpiece at trucking expositions and professional show events throughout the United States. It is common for the vehicle to cause localized traffic congestion as crowds gather to observe the custom craftsmanship. $700,000 is the approximate price tag for such a machine, though the final cost fluctuates based on specific finishes and integrated features. High-end investments like this turn a mechanical asset into a mobile lifestyle. It seems simple to view it as a transport vehicle, but in reality, the rig has been utilized in commercial productions and television shoots. The camera glides along the elongated body, capturing the scale that makes the vehicle difficult to forget. This machine was not designed solely for the transport of goods, but to leave a permanent impression on those who encounter it. The process of innovation continues as the next boundary of heavy-duty customization is reached. The material leaves the spotlight now, transitioning into a calm stage of operation on the open highway. 220 inches is the total length of the custom living module integrated into this specialized Volvo VNL. Why would a long-haul sleeper require such an expansive footprint? One might assume it is merely for additional comfort during rest periods, but the structure is engineered to accommodate a fully functional garage bay within the rear section of the cabin. This modification allows for the transport of a full-sized Harley-Davidson motorcycle directly inside the vehicle frame. ARI Legacy Sleepers manufactures these units by extending the chassis to support 18 feet of interior living space. The design includes a rear access point equipped with a heavy-duty hydraulic lift and specialized insulation to protect the interior environment from external temperature fluctuations. One can notice how the hydraulic ramp lowers with a steady, controlled motion to facilitate the loading of the motorcycle. It is visible how the interior bay features dedicated lighting, electrical outlets, and high-strength tie-down points to secure the cargo during transit. Everything only gets more complicated when considering the integration of household amenities into a moving platform. Inside the climate-controlled cabin, the layout features a retractable sofa and a dedicated dining area for the operator. The kitchen includes a cooktop, a full-sized oven, a microwave, and a large-capacity refrigerator for long-term food storage. A full bathroom is situated within the module, containing a porcelain toilet and an enclosed shower stall to maintain hygiene standards on the road. Above the main floor, a loft-style fixed bed provides a permanent sleeping area without sacrificing the utility of the lower level. But this is just the beginning of the technical specifications. 525 horsepower is generated by the Volvo D13 power plant. The six-cylinder inline engine has a displacement of 13 liters and produces over 1,800 pound-feet of torque. An automated transmission manages this power, specifically tuned to maintain efficiency and operator comfort during transcontinental hauls. It seems simple to focus on the luxury of the interior, but in reality, the mechanical foundation must be robust enough to pull the weight of the extended sleeper and the integrated garage. The process is only gaining momentum as the exterior details come into focus. The camera glides along the metallic silver paint and the smooth aerodynamic lines of the custom bodywork. Polished wheels and vertical exhaust stacks reinforce the commanding presence of the vehicle on the highway. One can notice how the side hatch opens to reveal the internal storage compartment, a feature that distinguishes this build from standard commercial sleepers. These machines are produced exclusively to order, with the manufacturing timeline often exceeding 1 full year for a single unit. $800,000 to $1 million is the estimated price range for this level of customization. The final cost depends on the specific technical requirements and materials chosen by the owner. Because of this high entry point, the builds remain extremely rare in the logistics industry. The operator utilizes the rear bay for multiple functions, including mobile remote work and hosting guests when the motorcycle is not in storage. The molten stream of engineering and luxury culminates in a vehicle that functions as a primary residence. The vehicle reaches the final stage of its configuration, representing the most expensive and complex entry in the series. The material and mechanical components are unified into a single transportable structure. This concludes the technical overview of the heavy-duty custom sleeper. 100 years of industrial evolution are concentrated within the frame of the Kenworth W900L Limited Edition. Why did a single vehicle become a primary milestone in global transport history? It only looks obvious to call it a truck, but this machine serves as a physical record of a century of engineering excellence. At first glance, it is a standard silhouette, but in reality, every millimeter of the rig was designed to reflect the weight of a legacy spanning 10 decades. Production remained strictly limited to a specific number of units, and the process ensures that each individual vehicle carries its own unique identification number stamped onto a dedicated plaque. One can notice how the commemorative satin gray paint absorbs the light, contrasted by subtle blue striping that runs the entire length of the chassis. Exclusive gold anniversary emblems are positioned at strategic points across the bodywork to distinguish this model from standard production lines. But this is just the beginning. The exterior aesthetic is defined by heavy chrome bumpers and vertical exhaust stacks that rise high above the cab. Polished wheels rotate with mechanical precision, catching the light as the truck moves. The equipment gradually reveals its complexity through the balance of traditional soul and modern functionality. Inside the cabin, the engineering focuses on a specific harmony between retro aesthetics and long-haul utility. One can notice the analog dashboard where physical needles provide data, a direct nod to the mechanical roots of the industry. Premium leather seats are positioned before a fixed double bed, while the living space is integrated with a microwave, a refrigerator, and custom cabinetry. Independent climate control systems operate silently to maintain a constant internal environment regardless of external weather conditions. Everything a veteran of the road requires is present, yet the traditional character of the series remains undisturbed. It gets more complex further on. The mechanical heart of the machine is the legendary Cummins X15 engine, an inline six-cylinder power plant with a displacement of 15 liters. This engine generates 565 horsepower and produces more than 2,100 pound-feet of torque. One can notice the deliberate choice of a manual 18-speed transmission, a configuration that meets the exact expectations of traditional operators. The price for such a configuration easily reaches $600,000 depending on the specific option selected during the assembly phase. Even at this high cost, every manufactured unit was sold in a very short period of time. It is visible how some owners put these machines into heavy service, while others preserve them as static collector items. Because this edition represents a century of development, it occupies a position on this list not merely for its sleeper cab dimensions, but for the historical weight it carries. 100 years are distilled into one machine, and the influence of this design remains infinite as the material transitions to the next stage of its life cycle. 32 feet, exactly 9 3/4 meters, is the length of the massive sleeper compartment integrated into this specialized vehicle. Calling such a structure a mere sleeper cab would be a significant understatement of its true scale. This custom Freightliner Cascadia has been re-engineered into a mobile residence of 32 feet, exceeding the dimensions of the majority of Class A motorhomes. The construction adheres to a level of technical detail that surpasses the quality of many modern apartments. Why would such a massive frame be required for a commercial truck? It seems like an excessive modification for a standard transport vehicle. But this machine is not designed for simple freight hauling. It is a full-scale residential unit built on a heavy-duty chassis to sustain long-term independent living. One can notice the exterior finish, which features hand-painted murals stretching across the entire length of the body panels. These are not standard vinyl wraps or mass-produced decals. They represent genuine custom artwork applied directly to the metal, creating a visual narrative as bold as the mechanical foundation of the truck. The camera glides along the polished surfaces where the paint transition is seamless. But this is just the beginning. Inside the cabin, the engineering focuses on extreme optimization of the available volume. The layout includes 2 separate sofas and a comprehensive kitchen equipped with a large format refrigerator, a dedicated cooktop, and a functional oven. A stainless steel sink is integrated into the countertop next to a fixed dining area. Every inch was calculated for maximum practicality and comfort. It only looks obvious to include these amenities, but in reality, fitting a private bathroom with a full-size shower and a laundry room into a vehicle requires complex plumbing and drainage systems. The rear of the vehicle houses a king-size bed suite, isolated from the common areas for total privacy. The equipment gradually transitions from residential comfort to heavy-duty power under the hood. A Detroit diesel inline-6 engine provides the necessary propulsion, generating between 500 and 600 horsepower. This massive output is managed by a smart automated transmission specifically tuned for the requirements of long-distance cruising. The process is only gaining momentum as the exterior features come into view. A retractable awning extends from the side of the body, providing shade over a series of integrated storage bays, and custom lighting arrays. Polished wheels catch the light as the truck moves, reinforcing the high-end industrial aesthetic. At first glance, such a build might seem like a standard luxury project, but in reality, the financial investment reflects the complexity of the engineering. A project of this magnitude can easily exceed $900,000. With the addition of high-level upgrades for self-sufficiency and luxury, the total cost frequently crosses the $1 million mark. The owner lives in this vehicle full-time along with his wife, utilizing the space as their primary residence. They cross the territory of the United States with every necessity for survival and comfort secured on board. The material quality and systems allow them to maintain a standard of living that exceeds many fixed, traditional homes. Everything only gets more complicated when considering the logistics of such a lifestyle, yet the vehicle handles the transition across the continent with mechanical ease. The journey of this mobile residence continues along the highway, functioning as both a heavy-duty machine and a high-end estate. This concludes the overview of one of the most complex residential truck conversions currently in operation on the road. 7 stories of height can be observed when these specialized transport units are parked alongside standard industrial buildings. These machines represent a transition from simple logistics to mobile engineering complexes where power and comfort are combined. Why do these massive transport platforms incorporate design elements that rival high-end apartments? At first glance, the external dimensions suggest only raw utility, but in reality, the interior volume is calculated to support a human life for months without interruption. The process of constructing these rolling structures begins with the integration of heavy-duty power plants and reinforced chassis. Engineers install living modules that feature independent climate control systems, high-capacity electrical grids, and ergonomic workstations. One can notice how every square inch of the internal cabin is utilized to maximize the independence of the operator from external infrastructure. This level of self-sufficiency allows for a lifestyle defined by total mobility across vast geographical distances. It gets more complex further on. The equipment gradually moves from the assembly stage to active service on the highways, where these vehicles function as symbols of industrial freedom. Each unit costs several $100,000, reflecting the extreme engineering required to sustain a comfortable environment within a vibrating mechanical frame. Because the operators must remain on the road for extended cycles, the layout is designed to minimize physical fatigue through advanced suspension and acoustic insulation. One can notice how the heavy doors seal with a pressurized hiss, isolating the interior from the roar of the massive diesel engines. Transition to the next level of heavy machinery exploration occurs regularly through detailed technical reviews. New configurations of extreme builds and specialized transporters are analyzed to determine the physical limits of modern mechanical engineering. The documentation of these machines continues as they are deployed into various logistical sectors across the globe. The technical examination of these mobile living environments concludes this phase, opening the road to further industrial analysis.